The parliamentary debate votes allow ministers an opportunity to detail the spending priorities linked to performance outcomes of the department, with Treasury presenting a budget vote in the face of limited resources and mounting demands on the government to do more to make a difference in the lives of South Africans. The finance minister believes inroads are being made, especially in addressing the energy crisis that is at the center of the country's economic woes.
In the 2023 budget, we also introduced tax incentive measures to support rollout of rooftop solars for households to encourage electricity generation and expand the renewable energy tax incentive to business. We have published a draft taxation legislative amendments for public comment to give effect to the 2 renewable energy tax incentives announced in the 2023 budget. These proposals assist in partially addressing the country's energy crisis and encourage private investment into expanded electricity generation.
The finance minister says efforts have been taken to address the concerns raised by the Financial Action Task Force, with 265 million rand set aside over the medium term to implement the organization's recommendations to get the country off the grey list.
We have also stressed the system needed to identify the beneficial owners of business and trust so that they cannot hide behind the veil of corporate secrecy when engaging in money laundering. We have submitted updates to FATF on all of this. We expect positive re-ratings of our system technical compliance with FATF standards in the next 6 months.
Treasury says the securing of jobs, especially for the youth, remain a priority, with the country's unemployment rate having jumped from 32.7% to 32.9% in the first quarter of the year.
The National Treasury continued to be committed to supporting the millions of South Africans, especially young people who are unemployed, to access the job market and acquire the necessary skills, allowing them to meaningful practice in the formal economy. Through the employment tax incentive, a cost-sharing mechanism between government and employers, following them to reduce what they pay in tax when hiring young people, are encouraging youth employment.
Opposition parties aren't convinced that the country is on a journey to economic growth, as they highlight government's shortcomings.
Economic growth is stagnant and recession is looming, yet government doesn't evolve its policies that clearly aren't working. Government positioned itself at the center of our economy in pursuit of a so-called developmental state. This hasn't worked because our government is not only incapable, it is corrupt and it is dysfunctional. State capture and our grey listing by FATF is evidence enough. The DA will deliver an enterprising economy where government provides the infrastructure and services that it is elected to do and then gets out of the way for entrepreneurs to generate growth and jobs.
This low economic growth and lack of jobs featured at the budget vote, with government called upon to do more as the EFF rejects the budget.
The reliance on the privatization pamphlet drafted with the help of the IMF and the World Bank consultants masquerading as economic transformation policy has collapsed South Africa's economy. Today, Stats SA released the Q1 labour force survey, and we are not shocked that the unemployment rate in terms of the expanded definition stands at 42.6%. This means you have more than 7.9 million unemployed people who are looking for jobs every day but cannot find them.
The National Treasury also telling Parliament that it is also working on deepening the country's trade links with the region and other parts of the world. South Africa will be hosting the 15th BRICS Summit in August, where it says it plans to use the event to highlight national and continental efforts to revive and reform the global economy in a more equitable manner. Katlego Legodi, SABC News, Johannesburg.